Hey guys, welcome to my October mid-month budget check-in. In these videos, I share with you some of the money moves that I have made in the first half of the month, the expenses that I've had, and how I've handled those. Hey guys, welcome to Budget with the Dreamer. My name is Miranda, and on this channel I share all things personal finance, specifically sharing tips on how to save, how to invest, as well as how to budget. If these topics interest you, then please hit that like button as well as subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this type of content. So it is 8:34 this morning, Friday the 15th of October. I am filming this exactly on the 15th and I'm hoping to make it live today. I have my trusted coffee in my I'm feeling blue mug, which I absolutely love, and there is a wink for you guys for this Friday morning. So I do have my trusted coffee. I have my notepad here with me and my laptop on my lap, so I can walk you through this budget. So before we get into going through my mid-month budget check-in, I do want to share a few changes, a few updates I want to say. So first thing, what you will notice is that I have changed my budgeting template, and for October's budget planning I use my old template, which you can purchase from my Etsy shop, but for this mid-month check-in and closeout I'm using my new template, which is not yet on my Etsy shop, but when I do put it on there I will share the links in all of my videos. So that's one thing. So there's a template change. I am in love with this template and I hope you too will be. Then the second thing is I have achieved a financial goal that I'd set for myself this year, and I'll provide more information on this in my Transfer Tuesday. I think for those of you who watch my Transfer Tuesdays, you may already have guessed what financial goal I have achieved. I am so happy, you guys. Oh my god, yes, I'll talk about it more on Tuesday, so stay tuned so you can hear what that financial goal is that I have achieved. For those who watch my Transfer Tuesdays, it's the one goal that I've been focusing on hard for the last 6 weeks. So yes, that's the only clue I'm giving you. Then the next thing is, because I have achieved that financial goal, it means that I'm going to have to change up my financial goals, like my financial savings goals. So I was focusing on that and I was hoping to have that finished by December, but because I've finished it now, it means I can start working on other things. So I do have a couple of savings challenges that I want to join, a couple of other financial goals that I have that I'm keeping on the down low, and I'll share when I'm ready. So all of that jazz. And I wanted to also say that the reason why I have changed my budget template is because I read this book, Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robins. Robin, I think, just not Robins. And it really has changed me in the way that I look at money. I'm reading more books. I just finished The Psychology of Money, which is another amazing book, and I'm reading another book about FIRE movement. So reading all of these books has really changed how I look at my money management, and I think the biggest thing for me is about reading these books and implementing the teachings that they teach. So I'm really happy about this, and now let's get right into this mid-month budget check-in. So I'll start screen record. I'll be looking down because this is where my laptop is. So yeah, let's begin. So I will firstly walk you through the template, then we'll start looking at the numbers. So the first section is the income salary, which you will always have in my templates. It does cover the type of income, expected income. So expected income is essentially the money that you normally get. So if you have a 9-to-5 job, you know what's your salary that you normally get, especially if it doesn't fluctuate. Then actual income is maybe you were expecting to get £2,000 from your employer, and then something has changed in your taxes. Maybe you get 1,900, or maybe you get 2,300. So that's why we put actual income. But if it's the same for you, then plug in the same numbers. Then the percentage of income. So if you have many sources of income, you want to know, like from your salary, what percentage does that hold for you, and then the difference in income. So if you thought you were going to get £2,000 and then you end up getting 1,800, it will tell you the difference, which is obviously £200. But sometimes for these other tricky numbers, we may not exactly know. But so that's why I have the difference column in all of my budgeting trackers. So the income section, personally for mine, I've blocked this off because obviously, like I've mentioned this before, I'm not sharing the sources of my income, but I'll share with you the totals or from these various sources of income. Then a total expenditure. Now this used to be at the bottom of all of my trackers, and it still is in my previous templates, but I've decided to bring it up because I follow a zero-based budgeting approach, which just means my income minus my expenses equals to zero. So but I wanted to bring it up top so I can easily see if I have reached my zero-based budget or not. So with my budget planning, I could see that in my expected income, I expected 4,500, and I made sure to budget for that 4,500. Then for the month of October, I'm actually right now, as of the 15th of October, I'm working with 6,351 and 86 pence, and so far I have been able to allocate 3,315 and 8 pence. So I have not yet reached my zero-based budget, but I know I will at the end of the month, because my money will be allocated to the things that it needs to do, so the work that I'm putting my money to. Then I know that so far I've only spent 52% of my total income, and I know that the difference so far is 1,884 and 92 pence. So this is the difference between what I expected and what I actually have. So this is why I've brought the total expenditures tab up, so it makes it easy for me to have a holistic view of all of my spending for the month. Then the next tab is what I used to call pay yourself first in my previous template. So it's the savings and investments section. I still have it in my mind as pay yourself first, but for the purpose of this template, I'm just calling it my savings and investments. So I start off with my investments. So for me, it's my emergency fund. You will notice that in my November planning, this is going to be removed. My Plum Savings. So this is an app that is attached to my main bank account, and it rounds up all of my spending. Then my month ahead account, my month ahead tab is actually, for the month that I'm the money that I'm saving to spend in the next month. Then my 100 days savings challenge, this is something I only started at the end of September, and next week Friday, I believe, I'll be making an update on how I'm getting along with that. So it's essentially a roundup savings challenge. So every single day I transfer the last 2 digits of my after the full stop. I transfer. So the roundup, I take all of that money and move it to this savings pot, and I'm going to use this money on the 1st of January 2022. This is my plan. So I'll give you more details about this next week Friday. Then I've got total monthly savings. Obviously that just, not monthly expenses, monthly savings. Let's change this. Monthly savings, yeah. And then for savings, I have an ISA with Vanguard, my pension with Vanguard. I do have another private pension with my employer, but they take it out before I get my pay. And then I've got general investment account, GIA. So I have got plans to add money to these play savings accounts. Anyway, so that's the savings and investment section. Then fixed expenses, it's still similar expenses that I had before, but after reading Your Money or Your Life, I kind of have broken down into more detail than I had before, and you will notice this as we walk through the budget. So I won't go through the numbers at the moment, but that's what it is. And then I still have variable expenses, because we still have variable expenses in our life. So that's what I've done, and again, I've just broken it into more detail. I found myself with having too many miscellaneous this, but some of the items were just becoming way too frequent miscellaneous. So that's what I have. And then at the bottom, I do have my sinking funds, where I have made an update as well, but I do plan to make a separate video on my sinking funds, so you will see those in a separate video. So for this video, I won't be covering that. So let's go back to the top, and start giving you a walkthrough of my budget at the moment. So I won't do the total expenditures because when I was explaining, I went through the numbers. So we will start off with the savings. So for my emergency fund, I said I wanted to put 800. I've put 1,500 so far. The month hasn't ended yet. I'm going to be putting more in about 45 minutes if I'm able to edit this video, and then because I need to go to the bank and just do some banking to make sure I totally achieve my financial goal. I have, but I just need to do something else as well. Then for my Plum Savings, so again, this is attached to my bank. So far I've only been able to round up £16.32. Month ahead, this is something that'll give you an update at the end of the month when I close out my budget. Well, maybe early November when I've closed out my budget. So this is the amount of money that I'm gonna move with to November to cover my November bills. Then my monthly my 100 days savings challenge, so far I've put in £9.49. So far I have put in 1,552.81 pence, and I had actually planned to spend £1,000 on my savings. For my investments, I get paid in the middle of the month, but because and then on the next day I send the money to my investments, because the next day is a weekend. This won't happen until Monday. So for now there is nothing. An update will be given to you when I close out the budget. So nothing for this. But for my general investment accounts, I have been slowly but surely adding, a few pences here and there that I find in my budget, and I'll share more details about this when I close out my budget. So for my investment contributions, I planned 525. So far I've only put £68.62. Moving over to my fixed expenses, my mortgage, I've paid my mortgage, my council tax, combined water. So combined utilities includes my gas and electricity. I've paid my water, TV license. All of the roundups that I have here, I'm going to move to a savings goal. I just haven't decided which one. So the £2.83 will be moved somewhere, and then that will round it up to £915. So then moving over to insurance, so I've got buildings and contents insurance, I've got travel insurance, life insurance. I've paid for all of this because they come out at the on the first of the month. So these have been paid, and again, same thing. The remainder that I have, the roundups that I have, I'm gonna put to another financial goal. I just don't know which. Then today, all of my subscriptions got paid. So my Now TV, Netflix, Spotify, and then my internet, so my broadband, they all got paid today. So all of the change that I have from this, I'm going to be putting towards another financial goal. Then health and lifestyle, so you all saw that I had Peloton, but then recently added my gym as well, and dentist. So even though I pay as part of a work plan to have my dentist covered, there's other works that I thought I would need to do this month, so I included this in here. It may not be in there for my future budgets, but for now I'm including it in here. And so far I've paid for my gym £32.10, $39 for my Peloton, and I haven't spent anything in my dentist, and fingers crossed I don't have to go to my dentist at all this month. So once I know that I won't spend, I will then do all of the roundups and add them to a savings challenge, but for now I haven't done that. Then for my cell phones, I have made the payments. Beauty, so I bought some stuff that I needed for myself. Clothes, I did a little bit of shopping, so I bought. And then personal growth is a new line item that I had not previously had. I actually was paying for this personal development, so buying books, attending courses, seminars, and what have you, but I actually never included it because they weren't that frequent, and I classed it as miscellaneous. But for now I want to track personal growth, what I'm allocated towards my personal growth. So that's what I'm trying to say there. So I know for one of the Financial Joy Academy, I pay about £56 every single month, I think. I can't remember exactly. And then I'm going to be adding in like a couple of books in there as well. So this is why I'm budgeting £60, but I haven't spent that yet. Then tithe and giving, again, I haven't done much of this yet, purely because of the way the last couple of weeks have been set up. But now that I have been paid, I can start doing my tithing and my giving again. I try to do this every single week so that by the end of the month I am up to the amount that I've set towards tithes and giving. So right now I haven't done much. Then Variable expenses, so home. When it comes to food, I actually had to break this down, and this is all due to reading the Your Money or Your Life book. And I had to break it down because, sure, I had a budget for food, but I wasn't sure exactly how I was spending this money. How much of it was I spending at home, and by that I mean how much was I spending buying food, then cooking it at home, and then what was I spending at the restaurants. I had eaten in and out, but sometimes this I blew it, and sometimes when I looked at it, it wasn't because I spent too much at restaurants or eating out or takeaways. It's because I couldn't maybe allocate properly. Like I couldn't remember, was it does this fall into eating out? Is this just snacks or what have you? So this is why I've decided to break it down. So food now has at home, this is food that I buy and then cook at home. Restaurants, obviously going to restaurants. Entertaining, so when I have people over, so like for Christmas for example, it's going to be different. If I'm hosting, then I'll be spending a lot more money, so I need to budget accordingly. So this is why I've included this. And I'm a snacker, I love snacking, so I need to make sure I am tracking how much I am spending on food. This is why I decided to go all the way detailed when it came to my food expenditures. So I'm still budgeting £200. I just broke it down differently for the various categories that I have, and so far I have spent £155 and 14 pence. So fingers crossed I keep the £44 and 86 pence. I stay within budget, so fingers crossed. Then miscellaneous spending, again, every budget needs miscellaneous, so this is why we're here. So but this time I'm including apps because I seem to be buying a lot of apps for various reasons. So I'm budgeting £10. I am budgeting only £10 because I don't want to put too much and make me spend a lot on buying apps, and unless it's really a useful app, I don't want to be spending too much. Miscellaneous spending, I've cut this down to £50, and so far I've only spent £14 and 98 pence. My subscriptions, again, this I had already, but I wasn't tracking it the way I should have. Some of the items I was just adding them into miscellaneous, but now I'm crunching down, so I've spent £13 33 pence so far. My mortgage extra repayment, I have started this again, but I'm not sure yet this month if I'll be able to, because I have decided to focus so much all of my money, extra money, towards my my financial goal, which I have achieved. So I don't know yet if I'll have extra money towards extra mortgage repayment, but we shall see. Then fuel, so this is the transportation section. Fuel, I budget 65, I spent 106 and 74 pence. And honestly, if I wanted to be cheeky, I would have only documented my my initial spend when I filled up, which was £47 and 29 pence, purely because I went to my parents and I was helping my mom with a show, so we were driving back and forth, but she did give me money back for the fuel. So if I wanted to, I could have easily just removed that and just say I'm in budget, but that's not how I do my budgeting. So instead, the money that she gave me back, I have put it into my budget. So I went over my budget technically, but I also added more money. I received the money back for that. So this is how I track, and this is how I am keeping it. Parking and toll, so there were some places that we needed to park, so I have spent £4.40. Public transport, I have done one trip so far this month. I went for a brunch at the beginning of the month with my girlfriends, so I spent £7.80 for that, which is great. I don't really like using public transport, especially since the Rona days. I've been a bit of a snob when it comes to getting on public transport, purely because, you know, I don't trust other people to, you know, if they are sick or what have you, there to keep their personal space and all of that jazz. So I'm very cautious all the time. And also some of our trains get really packed, so I was like, no, I'll just drive. But for this one, it wasn't too bad. So yeah, so for my transport, I budgeted 85. I spent 118 and 94 pence. So for my total variable expenses, budgeted 562. So far I've spent £302 and 39 pence. So this is my new template. This is my new budgeting, which I am really happy about, and I cannot wait to share with you guys the budget closeout for the for the October budget, and also share some of the financial goals that I will be working on. In my last Transfer Tuesday, I mentioned that I'm now going to focus on funding my fund. This is just a fund where I just have this money has zero purpose. I call it fun because in case I want to have some fun, like splurge on something, I will use that money. So this is what I want to fund next. I do have other financial goals that are more priority than that, but I'm still going to be working on both. I just will be sharing one of them and not the other. But yeah, so this is all I wanted to share in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give my video thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one.